Now let's take a look at the boxes. As you can see, they changed. Now we have this drone shot on an iPad. iPads and drones, Apple and drones, they're coming together. Previously their boxes were a little lame, if you will, empty, just iPad from the side, and that was it. But now we have this beautiful photos on it. It seems like the old style bold font is back, and they moved the Apple sign to the top again. Let's begin with 10.5-inch iPad Pro. Now this iPad Pro is a little bigger than 9.7-inch iPad Pro. It also has higher screen resolution. And these new iPads have 120 Hz refresh rate, which makes scrolling a lot smoother. That's what they say. We'll see. And here it is. Now a lot of people go and rip this off like that. I don't want to rip it off like that. I just open it like this and do that. Ooh, the camera bump seems to be a lot bigger. Camera bump compared to the previous 9.7-inch iPad Pro is more. The camera bump on 9.7 iPad is actually maybe even less than a cent, but on the 10.5-inch iPad, it is almost as big as the cent. This is the new iPad, it's the old 9.7-inch iPad, and the camera itself is bigger. The size difference is obvious and it is thicker, but the screen is bigger and the bezels on the side are smaller, but we're gonna get to that soon. Let's see what else is in the box. Lightning cable, and I'm guessing our stickers and the charger. 9.7-inch iPad Pro 1 comes with 10 watt 2.1 ampere charger. But iPad Pro 2 comes with 12 watt 2.4 amp charger. What is in this? Wait, what is this part? There's a thick part here that is completely for no reason. We have this SIM tray remover, and of course we have the stickers and a couple of welcome to iPad Pro papers. Now let's unbox the 12.9-inch iPad Pro, which is a lot better than the previous 12.9-inch iPad Pro, which we used as tray, and then my wife said we have enough tray, so we got rid of it, so I don't have it with me today. This iPad Pro, except the size, has exactly the same specifications as 10.5-inch iPad Pro, which is what you would expect, and it is great. But with 12.9-inch iPad Pro 1, the specifications were a lot lower compared to 9.7-inch iPad Pro. The first generation 12.9-inch iPad Pro was able to shoot only 1080p video with the rear camera. It didn't have continuous autofocus. It had 1.2 megapixel front-facing camera, which shot 720p videos. It was a little faster than 9.7-inch iPad Pro, and it had more RAM. But now they are equal. Also, the second generation iPad 2s have brighter screen. It is 600 nit. It is something we needed on iPads. We needed brighter screens. And on top of that, it is less reflective, as Apple says. But that less reflective screen in time becomes reflective. This is heavy and nice, but the camera bump is so much smaller and nicer. This just makes you feel small. The home button is still a button, but the Touch ID on these are the new Touch ID, so it's gonna work a lot faster. Oh, we don't get to have the long lightning cable that used to come with iPad Pros. Wow, Apple. Let's see what else is in the box. Same thing except the SIM card remover, because this is the Wi-Fi version, and it comes with 12 volt 2.4 ampere charger, which is same as 10.5-inch iPad Pro. Now these iPad Pros, by the way, this is supposed to be space gray and this is gray, just make it darker. How hard is that? Just make it darker. And of course, every accessory you have from the previous iPad you have is not going to work with this one. You're gonna need to buy new accessories, even though this is sort of right now hanging in there, but it's not really protecting the screen. But if you had a previous generation iPad Pro, 12.9-inch iPad Pro, you can use the same accessories you have. They both have smart connectors where you can connect these to a keyboard or Logitech's stupid dock. We also still have the headphone jack, which makes one ask the question, where's your courage now? Now we can see how the bezel is smaller and the screen is bigger than 9.7-inch iPad. All right, now I have all the iPads ready. They all are freshly installed and they have a couple of applications downloaded to them. First, I like to begin with the reflection because I can see that the reflection is better compared to the first generation iPad Pro. As you can see, it is. This coating makes iPads reflect less. But I'm afraid in time it wears off. Yeah. They are all charged to 100%. And now when I connect this to the electricity, they will all get turn on command at the same time, so we can see which one boots up faster. 3, 2, 1, go! Oh, that was super close! Now let's take a look at the new 120Hz refresh rate that is not easy to show on camera. That's why we need to slow things down. Hundred and 120Hz refresh rate makes a big difference. It becomes much more obvious when you see it in real life. Just like True Tone display, 120Hz makes the iPad simply better. Now let's see the difference between the first generation Touch ID and the second generation Touch ID. Gonna add a fresh fingerprint. This is the first generation, this is the second generation. As you can see, adding a fingerprint is a lot faster. Complete. Now let's lock. And the second generation Touch ID recognizes your finger a lot faster than the first generation. Now, according to Apple's website, 9.7-inch iPad Pro Wi-Fi should be 444 grams. Mine is 450 grams, and I'm wondering if that's because I have my SIM card in there. 449 grams, let's see, 481 grams, which it should have been 477, 677 grams, which is correct. So this is correct, it's correct, but when it comes to Wi-Fi, I think Apple brings the numbers down a little bit. Now let's go into GarageBand and open one of the big files up. Now this is a project I worked on some time ago. I covered microcuts on the iPhone, and this is the file, and as you can see, it is filled up like crazy. Now let's see how long exporting this takes. iTunes, and let's export this as song because then it needs to bounce. The 10.5 and 12. The second generation iPad Pros. Ooh! iPad Pro 10.5 already finished it. And then of course the 12.9 finished after that. And iPad Pro 9.7-inch finished in 67 seconds. Let's go into Geekbench 4. As you can see, the new iPads have 4 GB of RAM. Actually, 10.5-inch iPad Pro has 3.91 gigabytes of memory and the 12.9-inch has 3.88 gigabytes of RAM. So if you buy the 10.5, you get more RAM. 1, 2, 3. Now Apple says a 10X CPU is 30% faster. Now we will see. And the results are in 12.9-inch iPad Pro scored 3,940 at single core and 9,405 at multi-core. On the other hand, 10.5-inch iPad Pro scored 3,895 in single core and 9,225 in multi-core score. The first generation 9.7-inch iPad Pro scored 3,012 at single core and 5,074 at multi-core. And if you're wondering, first generation 12.9-inch iPad Pro's Geekbench score result is this. But when it comes to compute test, 12.9-inch iPad Pro 2 scores 26,715, where 10.5-inch iPad Pro 2 scores 27,673, which is higher than 12.9-inch iPad Pro. And the first generation 9.7 iPad Pro scored 15,286. Now let's launch Goat Simulator. No, you cannot send me notifications. Now iPad Pro 2s have 12 megapixel f1.8 back camera and the 9.7-inch iPad Pro, first generation iPad Pro, has 8 megapixel f2.4 aperture camera. Let's see what kind of difference that makes. Also, there's something very interesting on Apple's website. Here under video recording, it says optical zoom 2x. That kind of confuses me because it cannot be optical zoom. There is no optical zoom. Well, the lens isn't moving, so maybe it's using the sensor in a different way, and that's why they're calling it optical zoom. The new generation iPad Pro's 12 megapixel camera is noticeably better than the first generation iPad Pro 9.7-inch. Also, the front-facing cameras changed. 9.7-inch iPad Pro have 5 megapixel front-facing camera. 12.9-inch iPad Pro, first generation iPad Pro, had 1.2 megapixel front-facing camera, and now the second generation iPad Pros, they both have 7 megapixel front-facing camera. So let's see what kind of a difference that makes. The front-facing camera of the new generation iPad Pro is better than previous generation as well. At this point, the difference in video quality is no surprise as well. iPad Pro second generation has the best camera on an iPad I have ever seen. Alright, now let's test the audio quality. For this, I prepared my XY mic and my sound level meter. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play the same song, the volume turn all the way up, and see which one sounds better and which one is the loudest.
Developers kind of products like Pokemon and stuff, but that's the reason you see so many iPhones out in the wild right now chasing Pokemon.
What?
Chasing Pokemon.
What? Where you going with a phone in your hand?
Chasing Pokemon. Chasing Pokemon.
Don't you know you may fall in a lake?
Chasing Pokemon. Chasing Pokemon.
Chasing Ecuador, chasing Acapulco.
Chasing Pokemon. Chasing Pokemon.
Chasing Nidonki, chasing Chigima.
Chasing Pokemon.
Chasing Pokemon. Chasing Pokemon.
Well, definitely 12.9-inch iPad Pro is the loudest and the fullest, but 10.5-inch iPad Pro sounds fuller than 9.7-inch iPad Pro, which once was one of the best sounding iPads out there. Okay, now I let this game run for half an hour while the iPads are getting charged. So let's see if there's a heat situation going on. Now, 8788, 8788. And of course, the 12.9-inch iPad Pro is around 85. Now let's talk about pricing. The pricing has changed. Also, the capacities have changed. Now, the smallest iPad you can buy is 64 gigabytes. It used to be 32 gigabytes. iPad Pro starts from $799. 10.5-inch iPad Pro, it starts from $699. Now iPad Pro 1, 9.7-inch iPad Pro 1, started from $599, so there's already $100 price bump. So both new iPads are great, but which one is right for you? Well, 12.9-inch iPad Pro is very big and it is very bulky. Unless you need that 2732 by 2048 screen, there really is no reason to get that iPad. On the other hand, 10.5-inch iPad Pro's 2224 by 1668 screen is pretty amazing. It's a lot smaller, more than 200 grams lighter, and with the new bezels, it looks better. They both have a 10x 6-core hybrid processor, but don't forget, 10.5-inch iPad is dealing with less pixels, which means in some situations it will be faster than 12.9-inch iPad Pro. Well, thank you very much for watching this episode and I hope you enjoyed it. Please hit that subscribe button. I must have a subscribe button somewhere here on the screen. Hit that subscribe button and play Ding Dong Ditch with the bell next to it and join the world domination. And please let me know what you think about iPad Pro 2s in the comment section below. The fingerprints. And until I see you the next time, take really good care of yourselves and hoşça kalın.